swimming the forbidden zone. They were captured by the shrewdness of apes. But what the hell is the shrewdness of apes? And why is Taylor wearing a man frock and saying city looks like Fraggle Rock? Did the Chambers, did the Imps, or Mr. Spock? These are just the facts we try not to mock on. The minute of the apes. 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 Yeah!
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies 1 minute at a time. I'm your host Todd. Across from me I have Sean and Richard.
Hello.
Hi.
Do you guys realize what I've done every day so far? I start with Sean and Richard, then it's Richard and Sean, now Sean and Richard. I'm just trying to make sure I'm taking care of you guys. So neither one of you ever feel... Right now Sean has the upper hand. He's gotten the introduction twice. You'll get a second.
Oh, okay.
Or you could just call us Ron or Schrichard.
Oh, that is true. You have to have your pop culture.
Yeah.
Schrichard. That's kind of gross.
Hey, you know what? It's only 5 days till Christmas.
It is 5 days for Christmas. Happy holidays to everyone out there.
Yay.
I hope you're at least getting your shopping done. And you know what? Go over and buy Planet of the Apes for a person you love. We're going to give a shout out because we're basically advertising Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Go buy it. Give it to somebody, right?
They've got a beautiful
Five
disc
disc
set.
deep
It's got all the
DVD
movies
set,
on
yeah.
there. Yeah.
And then Richard, do you have any Planet of the Apes stuff on Zeus?
Oh, we have comics. They actually regularly make Planet of the Apes comics. It's not an ongoing series, but they do miniseries. They did a crossover with Green Lantern. Yeah. That was fantastic.
Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to completely get in the weeds for 2 seconds. Doesn't Green Lantern have a problem with other colors besides green?
He used to have a problem with the color yellow. That was like a weakness for him.
You could call it the color yellow used to be weakness, and then
Are there any yellows in the Planet of the Apes? I guess not. That's oranges, greens, and purples.
Yeah, and blacks or
Oh,
whatever.
he can completely rule their asses.
There you go.
All right, so minute 52 through 53 begins with Zira explaining the missing link and ends with Dr. Maximus explaining, you know the rules.
And as of this minute, we still have 2 living humans, 2 dead humans, a shrewdness of ape, and a gaggle of humanoids. I think this will change at some point, but I don't know.
I don't know.
I haven't seen future episodes, so I don't know.
That's the whole one of the whole points. Sean has not watched this movie up to the point that we've actually discussed it so far. So when you guys listen to Sean, he knows nothing. That's why sometimes we might be a little vague about what happens, the outcome.
Do not go on Twitter and tell Sean the end of this movie, because at this point he still thinks that this is just a Planet of the Apes. He has no idea.
The Planet of the Apes are somewhere in the future. Their ship has crashed. They don't know where they are. What's going on?
They don't know when they are or where they are. You have to keep it straight.
No, that's true.
And if it weren't for Richard, I probably would have spoiled everything. But you are the rain so far that pulls me back in, so thank you. So the biggest thing right here off the top, do we notice how much Taylor does not like being called a missing link? When that is thrown out, he gets him he's bowled up, ready to fight.
Maybe somebody's called him a big stupid ape at some point, and that really got him into a fight with somebody. Now
I'm sure that was Landon at some point.
Yeah, there you go.
So on his planet, he evolved from apes.
Yes.
He's in a situation now where he's on a planet where he's got apes. Is he assuming that they're eventually going to become humans? I mean, what is he thinking at this point? All we know is that he's pissed that he's now being tied into that, but he's got nothing to like. At this point, I'd be looking for any way I could think to survive or to get home.
Wouldn't you be crying, though, at the same time?
Yeah, there's one. If I were Taylor...
Richard is so frustrated.
Because he's so mad at Zira and Cornelius.
But they've done nothing but be nice to him.
For not believing anything he says. If I'm Taylor, I'm like, okay, how do I make this work? I've got to live.
Right.
I've got to live in this scenario. Clearly they don't understand what flight is.
I don't have any... My ship is underwater.
My ship is underwater. Is my goal at this point as Taylor to just get out of the city?
And what's he going to do if he gets out of the city? I mean, he already knows that the other people that are out there are being hunted down by the gorillas.
He can't send a distress signal. He can't be rescued.
Yeah, there is no rescue.
I would be doing everything I can to find a place where I can exist in this reality.
Yourself.
Yeah, exactly. What are my skills? What can I do? What can I add to this? You know what? I mean, sorry, I know I'm kind of thing, but he's really mad about being called the missing link. And at this point, I'm like, I'm thinking about survival.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to figure out what he could do to ingratiate himself. I mean, Is he going to start doing the whole monkey thing? You know, the one with the symbol.
Put a little hat on him, little vest.
Is he going to do something to that extent? I mean, what do you do?
He would have to show that he has a skill that they do not have.
Oh, he can make paper airplanes.
He can make paper airplanes.
Yeah.
Start being kids' party tricks. They don't have clowns in this world.
Exactly.
They send him there to make
I'd be showing how to make balloon animals.
He knows how to do forearm smashing on the back of necks.
He clearly can't make clothing because his tit is still hanging out.
All right.
I'm so sorry. but I'm seriously, wouldn't you be at this point like, okay, I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
I got to figure this out.
Well, once again, that you think that Cornelius didn't have the reaction before when it was holding it in, trying to protect what he knows, what he cherishes, whatever. He didn't have it. Taylor has no internal monologue as well. He's just reactive. Hey, MFR, don't call me a missing link. There's nothing where he feels frustrated or he acts out or latches or goes.
All right, so after he writes, I'm not a missing link, Cornelius comes back, and the first thing we get in this minute is, because if he, Taylor, is the missing link, it means that the sacred scrolls aren't worth their parchment. Aha! Religion. We have it here. We now have a reason why anybody, whether it's Zaius or anybody else, we have a sense of something that exists that says this is all that we are. We are nothing more than this. It is really our first establishment of suggested, but at this point established
that there's
religion.
There's a scientific side and a religious
There's guidelines. The sacred scrolls aren't, because if he is, it means the sacred scrolls aren't worth their parchment. So is Cornelius a believer in the religion, or is he afraid in the last minute where we kind of established that Dr. Zaius kind of was shutting everything down?
Well, just to follow right up on that, to kind of build on that, Zero then says the sacred scrolls might not be sacred, and then Cornelius saying, I'm not going to get into that battle again. You can tell this is an argument that they've had.
So they've had before. They have before, but I love that Zero made the scientific question earlier. How can scientific truth be heresy? And she's now questioning the scrolls. Well, maybe they're not.
Yeah,
maybe there's more. So you've got.
I mean, there are religious scientists. There are people who believe in God and believe in science, and how they make those two beliefs coexist is their problem. I don't know how they do that, but he might be a scientist who is also a believer.
Maybe he does. We don't ever know what he believes in. We don't hear that portion of it. I do think, going back to what we talked in the last minute, because I had this very same thing, that the bravery of a film in 1968 to ever say that religion would not be worth the parchment it's written on, to pose the question to society that, hey, hang on, if evolution is true, that ain't true. I know my grandmother, who was alive at this time and would have watched that, would have probably just slapped somebody's head right off for that kind of thought. But they sneak this in because it's the rules of this world.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, we're establishing that Cornelius is going to build the first dinosaur ape museum where apes are riding dinosaurs. I mean, but we're getting a little sense of him. He goes a little bit further. Zero says, Cornelius says, I won't get in the battle. And Zero says, show some strength. And Cornelius says, Zero, listen to me. We've got a fine future ahead of us. Marriage, stimulating careers. I'm up for a raise. So we're getting a sense of where they are.
Let's be honest.
In the relationship.
The fact that he said it last, the raise is the most important part to him. Not the marriage, not the stimulating career. It's the fact that he's going to get more moolah.
But this, it really kind of speaks to that when you realize you're in a subordinate situation in society where you have to play by the rules in order to live a happy life, whatever those rules are. And apparently one of those rules is not questioning the sacred scrolls. He can still do his research, but he cannot bring up his theory anymore. Right? He can still do. Yeah. He can still carve a career in this area. It's just fascinating to me that we've now got that. Yeah. We're now injecting religion into one of the reasons why the apes are the way they are.
I find the subversive nature of interjecting that comment of the stimulating careers, marriage, and a raise. Okay, careers, so they have jobs. Marriage, there's a marital institution, and a raise, there's a financial institution. So what have they done? They have 3 times equated it to what you and I live in.
Right.
Without saying it, they have made us understand that they are like us. They may look like monkeys, but they are us. And it's this beautiful little toss that draws no attention to itself. Anyway.
We're establishing a society.
Well, yeah, it draws
familiar.
It draws no attention to itself by going, by the way, well, we had a financial system too. It doesn't do that. It just simply states it as fact.
I want to know what their economy is actually based on.
Bananas.
Banana peels.
Bananas and
but
poo.
then literally money would be growing on trees.
Oh, God.
Come on.
Can I edit that comment? Yeah. I was supposed to bring a drum and a snare, snare drum and a cymbal, right? And I forgot about that.
I'm just really excited that we've now got an answer for why Cornelius initially, he's worried about punishment, and now we have the actual institution, the Sacred Scrolls, that is kind of that stands over every scientific discovery. Right. The Sacred Scrolls, and that's why he doesn't want to contradict them, whether he believes or doesn't believe, whether he just wants to conduct his research in quiet and not get questioned. He wants to live his life with Zira. He doesn't want to push himself against authority because it affects his life. It affects his station, who he is, his happiness. And I'm sure there's a lot of people in a lot of modern societies and cultures that are in that situation where they may have something oppressive and cannot. They just want to live or exist, whether that is, in
But if that's the case, if that were the case, wouldn't it be that he had abandoned his studies? If he wants that, if he's been threatened so much, would he still be even pursuing the studies if we have stimulating careers, we have marriage and financial reward? Why is he pursuing that anymore if it threatens the three things that he lists as valuable? Shouldn't it be in this moment that Zira is like, you could go back to your studies, you could go back to these things that he abandoned? It's a weird concept for a character to want something, but to be working against what he wants.
And that's why he shut down on Taylor, even though Taylor is his proof. Yeah. He just wants to quietly go and do his research, and not rustle any trees.
The nail that's...
You each now have a mark against you, the names of the trees.
He doesn't want to be the nail that gets hammered down.
But by
standing out too much. So now we're also introduced to a new character now.
Mr. Maximus.
Dr.
Maximus.
There's a knock at the door. I'm up for a raise.
Animal Affairs.
I'm up for a raise, and he is interrupted. What else do you think he was going to say? I'm up for a raise.
And babies.
Knock, 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 knock. Yeah.
I'm up for a raise. So shut your monkey mouth.
And my concubine. Maybe they have a concubine system.
Yeah. So he's shut down by a knock at the door.
So they burst in, and Zaius immediately comes in asking him if he missed the appointment. Is Zaius controlling the moment? Did he somehow know anything was going on? Because it seems very convenient that Zaius didn't just come by himself, but came with
the guerrilla guards with him.
That is it. That was the point. That was the point that stood out to me. It wasn't just Zaius coming into his office like we had an appointment. I'm coming. Well, okay. So Zaius has a reason to go to Cornelius' office because they had an appointment. Mm-hmm. And so when he doesn't show up for his appointment, Zaius goes to Cornelius. Mm-hmm. I'm going to your office. So he brings Maximus, our commissioner for animal affairs. Why does he bring Maximus? And why does he bring guards? He already knows that Taylor is not where he's supposed to be.
So I'd be curious from this point on to just keep an eye on Zaius. Just everywhere he goes, since he is sort of like the highest of high, do guerrilla guards follow him? Because if that's the case, then that negates this whole conversation.
Yeah, because when
they're like the Secret Service.
When he showed up at the zoo, I mean, there were already gorillas there, so there's no.
But they were walking with him.
They were walking
with him. So maybe he does always have guards with him.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they're like the Secret Service. Yeah.
But he did bring the Commissioner of Animal Affairs. Why did he bring the Commissioner of Animal Affairs?
Because he definitely doesn't come in and say, you missed our appointment and I heard you took this human. Instead, there's a comment of, what is this?
What is it? And
it's a man. I know
Well,
that.
I know. Was he saying, what is this about? Why is he out of his cage? Or was he saying, why is he dressed like this? What is he confused about?
He says, did you not forget our appointment, Cornelius? No, sir, I've just something in my notes. So Cornelius realizes that he's caught. So he's flustered. No, I'm getting my notes together, right? I'm ready to do this. And Zaius says, Dr. Maximus, our Commissioner for Animal Affairs. Mm-hmm. Why would the Commissioner for Animal Affairs be with him?
Okay, it could be. Since we're constructing Cornelius' backstory in this, let's construct the backstory of the moment.
Do we know what Cornelius' job actually is, or title, or anything? Have they?
Yeah, I said archaeologist.
It says